On the podcast today, I have Nicole Tenace. She's the regional director for the Regis Corporation. You know, looking up the Regis Corp, it's a $1.7 billion company. So obviously a huge company. Its namesake is Regis Salon, but the divisions are Carlton Hair, Best Cuts, Super Cuts, Hair Crafters. It goes down and down the list. How are you doing today?
Yeah, we have a lot of them. I'm good, thank you. Yep. So I particularly oversee the Hair Masters brand. I don't know if that matters.
It matters to you.
Yeah, definitely. We have a lot of different brands.
Yeah. How did you get involved with being on the road for Regis?
Yeah. So I used to be with beauty schools, and I always did hair. And I just fell in love with the business part of it, and then I ended up, just in operations, and that's how I ended up as a regional director.
How long have you been a regional director for Regis?
I've been with them on my second year now, so pretty new. Mm-hmm.
In your work life before, did you travel after work, or is this your first branch out into traveling?
I drove a lot. Yeah. So I was a regional education manager, so I ended up driving more, not as many overnights, but I would drive more often. Mm-hmm.
Just to give people an idea, how much traveling, I guess per month do you do for your work?
So I normally, on any given month, I'll do about 3 weeks of travel, and then some months I do 4 weeks of travel, and then a month of no travel. So maybe, say I try to fit in every salon within like a 2-month or 1 month period, and then a month of just drive travel.
So right now it's mainly driving?
For June, yeah. Mm-hmm. For June, it's just the local salons. Yeah, but July, it's all travel, yeah.
By air, though?
Yes, by air.
How big is your territory?
I always say kind of the West Coast, but it's really not. So it's all of California, a small portion of Arizona, all of Oregon. I have the Boise market, and then I have all of Nevada. I don't know if I said Nevada. All of Nevada. And then I have a small portion of Washington.
So far, what's your favorite state to visit?
I have one area that, I have one, because I have team members under me. So I have one girl who's under me who I say she has like the party circuit. And so I really enjoy going to see her because we have a really good time because she has Reno, Laughlin, and Vegas. So I really enjoy seeing her, but just, purely selfishly, I enjoy that, but I also really enjoy Oregon. It's really pretty up there.
Yes, I love Oregon too.
Yeah, it's really pretty as long as it's not raining.
Which is quite often.
All the time, yeah.
Well, at least on the west side.
Yeah,
Have you ever been to Eastern Oregon?
I like Bend. I just went to Bend, and I have Klamath Falls, which I just recently went to. So that was, I don't know if that's considered Eastern.
That's probably more central, I think, but...
Yeah, So I have Eastern Washington, which is really not as pretty as you would assume. Well, yeah,
I had to go to a rodeo at Pendleton, Oregon, and the fly-in was at Tri-Cities, which is Kennewick, Wasco.
Yeah, that's where I go.
Yeah. And then I had like, I don't know, about hour and a half drive south and east to get into Pendleton. And that was my first time in my life I had ever been to Oregon. So
really?
In my head, I just had this envision of Oregon being trees, rainy, forest, the whole thing, which is the west side. But I flew into the east side and went, where am I? I thought I was going to Oregon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's how Bend was.
There's wheat fields here. And
yeah, and everybody in Oregon always told me about how beautiful Bend was, and I thought, when I got there, I was like, wow, this is really like desert. And I'm sorry if anybody's listening that's like really from Bend. And I just was like really taken aback because I thought, wow, I think the rest of Oregon's so beautiful. Not that Bend isn't beautiful, but
just different.
It was just so funny. Yeah, and I was thinking maybe people who have green all around them vacation in the desert. You know what I mean? Like maybe to them that's really pretty.
Well, and for me, when I tell people outside of California, I sell Western clothing and apparel and footwear, and they're like, their whole brain is just wrapped around Hollywood, the beach.
Yeah.
I'm like, California's kind of a big state.
Yeah, it definitely is.
I love how you said you're West Coast regional, but you're not really.
Yeah.
I get described corporate as the Southern California rep.
Yeah.
But San Francisco is part of my territory.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, a lot of the times they'd say Los Angeles, and I had all of San Diego.
Exactly.
I don't have.
It's not the same.
Really. I don't even have. I have one salon in Los Angeles County, really.
Well, I only have. I think 4 or 5 accounts in LA County, and everything else is San Diego. Central Valley, Bakersfield, Tulare, Porterville.
I have Tulare. I'm going up there in July, and I have Clovis.
I'll be going up to Bakersfield next week, and then I'm starting off the week in San Diego, down in Calexico. That'll be my Monday, and then I'll start working my way north.
Yeah, I don't have to go that way anymore. So I used to have the Yuma, Arizona, and it's funny. I used to be the San Diego person. Yeah. Before we realigned, and so I used to have the San Diego market, and I would have Yuma, Arizona, and Imperial Valley. I just laughed because I thought, I'm not really San Diego, but
I know the feeling. Yeah, when I tell people, I'm like, I'm going to San Diego. Oh, you're going to go to SeaWorld? I'm like, no, I'm going to Calexico.
Yeah.
Like that's 100 miles east of the fun stuff.
Definitely.
Not quite. And it should be a nice, cool 105 to 110 miles when I get down there.
Not too bad.
Yeah,
only
not 120
yet. In your car. Nope, not too bad.
Exactly. What's one thing you like about the traveling, if any?
I really enjoy my alone time, I'd have to say. So I was raised an only child, and there's sometimes that I get home and, my mom, my boyfriend, my dogs, I just all want to talk. And not that I don't really enjoy talking to them, but there are also some times that I talk all day, and I just want to sit there in my own silence and just, I don't know, not talk. And so I really just sometimes enjoy being, within, alone. I don't know.
No, I hear you.
I enjoy that. Yeah, and I also really enjoy seeing, or meeting new people. I really enjoy talking to people, which is so funny because I was just saying how I don't like talking as much, but I really do enjoy talking to people on the plane and just seeing, where they're from or what their stories are. Yeah. It's really quite interesting if you have somebody really nice sitting next to you. I don't know if you guys ever do that or if you ever get that chance.
It depends, and I'm the same way. There's times when I get on the plane, and if the person's next to me looks friendly, I'll engage. But if they look like they want to be in themselves, then I'm like, I'll get on my phone, watch a movie, I can get stuff done just as easily.
I could definitely do it, but I'd much rather, have a nice conversation with somebody and just, sometimes they give really good advice and sometimes they need advice. And so, I don't know, sometimes it's like free therapy.
I took a flight to Bozeman, Montana, and the guy that I was sitting next to warned me. He said, hey, when you leave Bozeman, give yourself extra time. And I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, Bozeman Airport is a training facility.
Oh, my God.
So it's a TSA training facility. So they tend to take longer, and they're training the new people. And he was dead right.
Wow. Yeah, I always find that when I fly out of small areas, they definitely take longer, but I can't even imagine a training facility.
My stapler that I carry that I used to carry in my laptop when I fly is what set them off. So they had to go through everything in my laptop back.
Oh, my gosh.
Because my stapler had a curved handle to it.
Oh, that's funny.
Like,
I got gifted a candle one time, and the TSA agent in Reno was cracking up because he was like, well, what's in the candle? And I thought, nothing. And then he's like, are you sure? And I'm like, well, yeah. And he's like, well, who gave it to you? And I was like, well, a stylist. It was a holiday gift, a Christmas gift. And he's like, well, we need to double check. This could be terrible. And my heart just sank because then I thought, I don't know. I guess there could be anything in that candle. It was a giant candle. And then I was like,
it makes you think, though, huh?
Yeah, first, it didn't even dawn on me. And, the second he came back and said, are you sure that you don't know are you sure that there's nothing in this candle? I thought, I guess I can't be sure, but it wasn't open when she gave it to me. But he was like, no, I'm just teasing you. You're good to go. And I was like, honestly, I don't think that's funny. I don't know that you're allowed to do that, but
it's funny later.
Yeah, now it's funny, but in the moment, and my heart sank. I thought, "Oh my gosh,
what if she
what
gave
a way
me
to get rid of your regional director?"
You're like, that was a good job.
Yeah, I did enjoy it. Now I don't. From prison, I can talk to you.
Well, I can. A sales rep for the company I work for, who lives in Sparks, so he lives in the Reno area.
Yeah.
Flies out of Reno, and when he travels for his work, he carries a gun, a concealed weapon. He forgot to take it out of his laptop bag as he was flying to Denver. He's like, yeah, it was not fun. It wasn't loaded, and he had his card and everything. So
yeah, that's right. I see in Colorado quite often where they have those, like where you can put things that you forget, and a lot of the time it's weed.
That's awesome.
I imagine it being like big trash cans full of just weed.
Oh, he didn't get arrested, but he got citation. He had to go to court.
Oh, really? They fine you and stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
He tried taking a gun on an airplane.
Well, I mean, I guess, but if you had I don't know. I have no idea. I don't have any guns.
Yeah, me either.
I wouldn't. I've seen people fly with them. I mean, I guess they're like in a case, but I would assume. Do they have to check them?
Yeah, you have to. It has to be a check bag. You have to declare it, I guess. I've never traveled with a gun, but that's what he was telling me.
It would never dawn on me to travel with a gun, or even, I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways, not my... I try to travel. I have a hard enough traveling with a curling iron. You can imagine what's on their faces.
No, I don't know that part.
But
but I can imagine. I can imagine.
Yes.
when you travel, do you ever book in extra time to see where you're going, or are you past that now? Now that you've
if normally I get picked up, so normally I have somebody that lives there to pick me up.
Okay.
But when I don't, I will. Yeah. So if I have to rent a car and then figure out where I'm going from the airport, then definitely.
What are some of the things you try to see when you travel? If you have the time.
To be quite honest, Dutch Brothers is my favorite coffee. I don't know if you've ever had it.
No.
I know it sounds crazy. Okay, well, if you're a coffee drinker and you've never had Dutch Brothers, you definitely have to go get some. They have one in Bakersfield, but that's as far south as they come. Or I think Fresno. I don't know. But they don't have them in Southern California, so I always have to go to a Dutch Brothers.
Okay.
And then my boss always likes chain restaurants, but I don't really care. As long as it's a good restaurant that I can have. I'm pretty particular about what I eat when I travel because, obviously you want to be, the worst thing is when you're sick when you're traveling. So I'm pretty particular about that. But I like just the little shopping centers and stuff. So normally when we try to eat, as long as it's someplace cute, within a shopping center or anything. If there's anything really cool, just recently when we were driving to Klamath Falls, we drove past Crater Lake. So that was beautiful. Normally it's scenery where I go, so that's really nice. And I don't even have to plan for that. I'm
the same way. I mean, today I ended my day up in Thousand Oaks, so 50 miles north of me. But I decided to come down Malibu and come over to the canyon.
Yeah.
So I'm I could either sit on the 101 and 405, or I can drive down the 1 and at least look at the ocean a little bit.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. And whenever I try to travel, if I have somebody I know that's around that area, I'll try to see them. So one of my best friends from high school lives in Hanford, which is by
I know where Hanford is.
Okay, yeah. So she lives in Hanford. So when I go to Tulare and Clovis, I'll stay in Visalia and see her. And then I just saw my brother in Medford, Oregon. And so if I can see people, then I'll always try to plan time for that. There's not always time for it, but I definitely try.
I do that. My sister lives in Santa Barbara. So if I have to go see my Central California coastal accounts, I'll spend the night there and hit my Santa Barbara account, my Santa Ynez account, my Buellton, Arroyo Grande, Pismo Beach, San Luis Obispo. But I'll stay at my sister's and hang out with my niece and them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's so nice.
One thing I do, I had an account that he retired and he shut down, but he was in Visalia, and I stayed at a place, that's the entrance to the Sequoia National Park.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And so I went up, and there was a little hotel right on the river there. So I stayed there instead of staying at a Hampton Inn or Holiday Inn. It was awesome. I went down, took pictures of the river as it was flowing, and left my window open at night. versus big rig traffic and trains. It was nice hearing the river for a night.
We have like a partnership with IHG hotels, so we always stay at Holiday Inn or Crowne Plaza.
Okay.
Yeah, so unless, like in Reno sometimes, we get really good prices at like, I don't know, some of the little casinos that are also hotels, so I'll stay there. It's like $55 a night.
The Peppermill's nice there.
That's where I stay, Peppermill, yeah. The Peppermill. I loved it there, except for it kind of reminded me of a brothel, but I had a blast.
Well,
it was so nice.
The brothel's more east.
Oh, yeah.
The Bunny Ranch
Where's
is out there.
Where's the brothel in Vegas? Where's the city? My STL or my team member under me always says that. What's the name of that city in Vegas?
What are you trying to get me in trouble?
Well, no, it's really well known. I just don't know it.
I don't either.
Is Wendy listening?
Exactly. No.
So funny. No, I can't remember the name of it, but there's a whole city of brothels in Vegas. I don't have a salon there, of course, but
that would be a good place for it, though.
Right, to get their hair done.
A lot of women getting their hair done.
A lot of women. I do have Kingman. That's it.
Growth potential right there.
Sure is. Yeah.
See?
I bet there's supercuts there. They're 90% men.
Well, it's got to be 50-50, right?
Yeah, but supercuts, like their clientele is normally men, so.
Is it really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Never would have guessed. And is Hair Masters mainly women?
Yeah, so my brand is normally women. So we have about 75 to 80% women.
Okay. How many stores or salons are you overseeing?
So I oversee 60.
Wow, that's a big. That's a lot of accounts.
Yeah, it's a lot of salons.
Yeah.
Some of them are bigger than others. Some of them are up to 12 stylists. Some are down to five or so. Are
the stylists independent contractors under the umbrella of Hair Master, or the employees?
Yeah, no, they're employees.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I know there's a lot of salons that will rent out a station.
A station, yeah. And that's really great. Some states don't allow that. So California is one of them that does, but some states don't.
So you have to be an employee of that salon.
Mhm. Yep. And that gets challenging when, there's no customers in the salon and then they're still say sweeping or doing towels or something.
Yeah, because you're still paying them. You have to pay them an hourly plus.
Mhm. So it can definitely get challenging if they are on a booth rent.
Yeah, because the independent contractor would just charge whatever they charge and then give the salon a cut or a percentage.
Yep. Mhm. And we need consistency.
Yeah. Are all the Hair Masters here? And it's the same way all the way around. They're all employees.
Mhm. Yep.
Do you find stylists happier as an employee, or do they wish they could be an independent?
I think it just depends on the need of the stylist. So, if somebody, say doesn't need insurance or doesn't need to, have a paycheck every single month and maybe has their own clientele, they may not need to be an hourly employee, right?
Right.
So we are, different. So somebody who's a booth renter wouldn't get vacation pay or wouldn't get PTO or sick pay or vacation or anything like that. They wouldn't get the opportunity of insurance unless they paid for it themselves.
I was going to say insurance being a huge one.
Yep. So, if somebody doesn't need that, and I always, because I used to work in beauty school, so I used to tell my students the same thing. There's not one that's better or worse. It's just, what do you need?
What fits your need, yeah.
Yeah. Do you need a paycheck every single week, or do you need to have insurance for your kids, or do you need to be at the baseball game or the soccer, game and make your own schedule?
Yeah, I was going to say, or just the flexibility of schedule, yeah.
Yeah, maybe you're a stay-at-home mom that just really enjoys doing hair, and you, just want to work your own schedule, when you want to, and you are on, say, your husband's insurance, or have your own insurance. That would maybe be better for you to be a booth renter.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
What's the biggest difference do you see between states? Meaning, and I have no idea, obviously, so I'm going to ask the ridiculous man question. Are the women in Boise any less or more particular about a cut than they are, let's say, in L.A. or San Diego? Or
no, I would say that they're all pretty particular. I would probably say that, and of course I'm probably going to get in trouble if anybody hears this that are from California or Oregon. You know, I would just say that maybe the people in Boise are just a little bit more polite about it.
Right.
So, you know, people in Boise are so polite and they're so nice. Not that us Californians aren't. They're just, you know, a little bit more vocal if they're unhappy, which could be a good or a bad thing, you know.
Yeah.
I need to know if my stylists aren't doing something correctly. If they are, you know, I would love to also hear that. So, you know, it just depends. I don't know that it's necessarily a trend or anything, but the main difference, I think, are just our state board. So California State Board is a little strict. And there are some things that I walk in to say, like Washington, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, we can't have this. And then my team member under me is like, laughs, and she's like, we're not in California, Nicole. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, same with labor laws. Californians are always the most strict.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I always felt, you know, when I travel around the country for my job, people are like, you're so nice. I didn't think Californians would be that nice.
Yeah.
And I tell people, I go, look, we have percentage-wise, I think we have the same amount of rude people to nice people to in between people. It's just we have more of them.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if we have 36 million people in our state and 5% are nasty, well, that's 1.5 million.
Way more, yeah.
That's 1.8 million nasty people.
Yeah,
so you can't run into
that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and you take 5% of 1 million people in Boise. It's not that many.
Yeah, exactly. And you're so right. That's, yeah, absolutely. And I don't even remember where I was going to go with that. You're right.
Well, okay then.
I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought.
No.
What I was going to say.
But that's how I tell people. I go, look, there are plenty of nice, you know, it's like the news. You're not going to hear about all the people that got up today and went to work and did their job and came home. You're going to hear about either the really good people or more than likely you're going to hear about the bad people.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, and California's no different. I mean, I can tell you, I'm trying to think, every one of my accounts that I deal with, I like dealing with. You know, they're good people. They're it's not so much that their business is booming. It's just, you know, they're doing what they want to do for the most part, and they make the best of it. And that's the one thing I enjoy about the industry I'm in. Yeah,
absolutely. I think one of the biggest things I find to be the most different between state to state is the staffing. So in California, we have a lot of competition. So we have, you know, say Ulta or Sephora or, you know, Great Clips, Great Clips, Sports Clips. You know.
Well, you even got the small boutiques like the Floyd's barbershops and
Floyd's, yeah, exactly. So we have a ton of those out here. Whereas like in Boise or even in Yakima or Pasco, we're our own competition. So we have Supercuts, Hair Masters, and Smart Style, which is another brand Regis owns. And then maybe Perfect Look, which is not our brand, and then maybe a Sports Clips. But that's all. So, like, from the, you know, the 5 that are out there, 3 of them are ours, you know?
Well, and then you get, you know, at least in the Los Angeles metro area, you have the high-end salons.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. I walked by Jonathan Anton's place yesterday.
Yeah, how was that?
Small.
Were they busy?
They looked like they had a few people. I actually met him at a golf course one time. I had watched his reality show.
Yeah, I remember watching it when I was younger, too.
And he kind of came off as a jerk. You know, very stern and very overly business-minded. I don't know the right way to put it, but so I met him, and I was kind of like, man, should I say hi or what? And I ended up talking to him, and he was a great guy.
Oh, that's good.
He's like, oh, you know, I said, hey, I was kind of nervous about coming up. He goes, yeah, I know the editing, and they catch salacious moments. That's what's going to make the TV part of it more exciting. But he was a great guy. Talked to him for a while. Super nice, friendly. I'm like, okay.
Good, yeah. I think he's a really good hairdresser, too.
Well, the one thing that impressed me about him, obviously, I don't know jack squat about cutting hair, is how much he practiced. They showed him practicing at home. He had wigs and a mannequin head that he would practice cuts on.
Mhm. Yeah, it's important to keep up.
Well, I have a friend as a drummer for a band. For a while, they had a certain amount of fame. They played with Linkin Park, and they were on Ozfest. I saw him. They were playing at the Whiskey, I think. I go to talk to him, and he's got his little practice pad out. There's a guy that teaches drum lessons when he's not touring. Has been on multiple albums. Played with Nikki Sixx, in Nikki Sixx's band. And here he is practicing on his practice pad before he has to go up. I go, really? He goes, yeah. He goes, you can never practice enough. And that, it's not something I think of. You sit there and you go, okay, you're pretty good at it, but yet he's still, just like Jonathan Anton cutting hair. Like, been cutting his hair pretty much his whole life, but yet he's still practicing.
Yep, I think it's important, and especially with us, and I'm sure with music, it's ever changing, you know, and so we're constantly having like new things come out. And what I find interesting is even in my industry, there's not a lot of people that are technical, which mean that like they actually do hair in the like upper management. And so I think that is one thing that kind of sets me apart from my stylists.
Because you have that background.
Yeah, I do, and so I can talk to them as if I was one of them, and, they can also, not BS me, I'm like, I don't think that's accurate, and I know that it's not accurate if they were trying to fib, but they would never do that.
Of course not.
No, they're so honest.
When I go to shows, or, like a trade show, and even when I used to go to events in Kentucky or Colorado or Wisconsin or Texas, it's interesting to see the difference of hairstyles. Yep. What's a regional haircut in the Midwest might not be a modern or, an ongoing trend on the West Coast or whatever. And that's why I was asking, what do you see, how different do you see the training? Like, could someone that works in Boise necessarily come and cut hair in California and just get it like that, or would they have to really think about it?
I'm pretty sure that they could, because, it's all still the basics. It's just what does somebody want, They would definitely need to update their license, but they could definitely, pick up on the California trend. So, rather it's an ombre or, I know that even Wendy was having a hard time finding a stylist because she was, nobody could do a page boy. And, I think that that's just lack of, practice, right? So just like how we were talking about going back and practicing, if her stylist really was dedicated and really wanted to learn, she would look up page boys and be able to cut that hair.
And practice it and do that type of thing, right?
Yep, absolutely. Because I know that she would have learned it in school because we all had to learn the basic haircuts in school. It's just rather she wanted to do it or not.
Well,
or
sure.
Good at it.
It's the same in my industry because, like, I sell boots, casual shoes, jeans, and shirts, and men's. And then in women's, we sell jeans, boots, tops. I had to learn, Georgette material and poly rayons and do all that. There's, I guess, it's the same way for us. There are certain sales reps that go, hey, I'm really comfortable selling footwear. So they really focus on that. They sell shirts and all that. Yeah. But they're focused because what they enjoy is footwear. Yeah. And conversely,
they feel confident in. And maybe that's what they like. So, it's easier to sell what you love.
Exactly. So that's interesting. It's it's similar in some ways.
Yep, absolutely. We have to sell product.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's your upsell, right?
Yep, it is. Exactly. That's what we call it.
I know. I almost think that's almost an music industry is selling merch.
Yep, absolutely.
I was talking to Cowboy Troy, who's a country music artist, and he works his merch table. Yeah. So he's trying to sell his shirts, his hats, his koozies, CD downloads, and all that because it's just extra money. You're already at the event, so why not try to make a little bit more since you're already spending the time there?
Yep, absolutely. And for us, it's almost like we consider it customer service because if somebody, you can do their hair in the salon, but if they don't, they're not able to go home and recreate that look, how well did you even really do that service?
Right. I mean, obviously, I don't have that issue, but
yeah,
I just flop some stuff in my hair and I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
That's how that works. Hey, let me ask you this question. If you had to talk to somebody that wanted a job like yours, what advice would you give them? a traveling person with a large corporation?
Yeah, I'd probably, talk to them a little bit about what it's like to travel and just telling them to really be flexible, and just that would probably be it because my schedule changes from one day to the next. I was even talking to Wendy about that. Last week I wasn't traveling and then I ended up having to go to Boise really quick.
Yeah.
And so just making sure that, you're flexible and that you have the support of everybody around you and that you live a lifestyle that, allows for that. So I don't know that I would be able to do this if I had kids and like a whole family to take care of, which is probably not what everybody wants to hear. And I'm sure that there are women out there that, and I'm sure that there are women out there that do that and are probably like, Nicole, it's stupid. Of course you can. But I just personally, when I get home, I am exhausted, like beyond tired. And so there are days that Saturday and Sunday I do nothing but just stay at home because I just want to be home because I know for the rest of the week I'm not going to be here. And I want to spend as much time with, Jason or my dog or my mom as possible and, the people I love. And so I'd probably give them that advice that, they really need to look into, rather it's something that they can really do and be realistic about it with themselves. And
well, I think a lot of people are enamored with the idea of, you get to go to, you get to see different parts, but there's a balance. I mean, I'm the same way. When I go up to Northern California, I'm gone for 5 days, 6 days. I come home, I don't want to drive.
Yep, I don't want to do anything.
When I do that trip, it's 1,000-mile in a week trip.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So when I get home, I don't want to drive. I don't necessarily want to go out. I want to relax.
Yeah, exactly. And I always joke with my boss, like, I don't have anybody else to do my laundry, so I do my own. So, like, I literally get home, I do laundry, I prep for my week. Like, my whole weekend is planned to do my week. Not that, somebody who doesn't have, who has somebody to do laundry for them doesn't do the same thing. But, like, I literally take my laundry out of my suitcase, I do it, and I put it right back in my suitcase. And it took a lot of getting used to. Like, my boss checked in on me multiple times to make sure I was okay. And for a while, I thought I wasn't. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. But
I think that's what I've told sales reps the same thing. People that do similar jobs or even the same jobs, and I'm like, for me, you sound a lot like me. Like, I plan it. Mm-hmm. Like, if I'm leaving on Sunday, I'm pretty much packed up. For me, I'm pretty much packed up on Saturday.
Yeah, I just stay packed.
You travel more than I do. So.
Yeah, my suitcase stays open in my room. Like, I have a little space. I have like one of those luggage racks where I just leave it open, and I just have the same outfit. I just joke with my team, like, you just always see me in the same outfit. Like, it's just what I wear, So I have my same like travel outfits. I have my travel, all my travel stuff that just doesn't get moved, because if I start moving it, then I start feeling out of control.
Yeah, see, for me, like when I go to a hotel, I put my keys, my wallet, all my stuff in a certain spot.
Yeah, me too. And then I sanitize everything.
Oh, yeah. and you stay in nicer places than I do because you're on the corporate dime.
Oh, my gosh, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm an independent contractor, so, I mean, I could spend $150, $200 a night, but then, or I could spend.
What would you be making?
Yeah, but then, or I could spend $60 and kind of, there's a couple places where I've traveled and I've gone, okay, this is on the no-go list for next time.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what's nice is we have a travel department, so if I feel like it's a no-go, I just call them and say, hey.
This won't work.
Yeah. Like,
I am my own travel department.
Oh, gosh, I don't know. I don't think I could do that, to be honest. I'd be so panicked. I mean, maybe it has to do with just being alone. I don't know, out in the middle of nowhere. I don't know. I couldn't do it.
For me, I'm trying to think. The best way like, I just booked my San Diego trip. And so as soon as I set my appointments, I get on my computer and book my hotels. Then I'm just ready to go. And now I know pretty much where, like, I'm trying a new place down in San Diego. So I'm like, okay, let me give this. It's a Best Western, but it's a little bit nicer one. But for me, like, I check if it has a microwave, if it have a refrigerator. I'm not so much into the pool and jacuzzis and all that.
I don't have time for it.
I don't either. I get done at 5:30 or 6. I'll eat dinner, and then I want to go to the room. I have to upload my computer, see what I'm going tomorrow, pull up the reports of what I did with my account last year for the same season. Mm-hmm. Call the wife, check in with her, see how her day went, let her know how my day went. and then I'm like, I'm done. But if I can have a refrigerator or a microwave, then I might go to a store and get some oatmeal or get some fruit that'll stay for a day or two, so I don't have to continually go out and shop.
Yeah, that's what I always try to do. If I have time, I'll go to a grocery store and get water, fruit, and then I know it sounds weird, but I'll get like lean cuisines or like frozen dinners just so I can like heat them up and I know what I'm eating for the night.
I'm with you.
So that's what I do. I always bring my coffee to my Keurigs because I know that they have pods. Or I bring my pods because I know that they have Keurigs and all the Holiday Inn Expresses.
There you go.
And I even got to the point where I bring a coffee cup now.
I always try to tell the new people, find your schedule, find what works for you, and then stick with it. You know, because for me, like when I leave the hotel, I know where my keys are, I know where the room key is. It's just, for me, it's just pattern. I don't want to waste time thinking about that stuff later. Like, oh shoot, where's this? Where's that? Oh, did I? So I always put a little extra time just to make my mornings go smooth.
Yeah, and I always found that like I never felt awake if I didn't have hot coffee in a hot cup, like in a mug. I know it sounds so stupid, but paper cups just don't work. It's just too hotel-y. So I definitely always made it a point to make sure I pack my coffee mug.
Well, see, that's a good training tip right there. A good travel one.
It's just a metal one from Starbucks, but it won't break.
That's perfect.
Yeah, and I have so many snacks. I know it sounds weird, but it's just something like mental in me that if I think about it when I'm laying in bed in the hotel, and I don't get a rental car always, I will go insane if I don't eat it. You know what I mean? So like say I just want watermelon. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I have to get watermelon now. So I'll know that that's exactly what I need. You know? It's
so interesting because that's a lot of the reps I talk to for the first 6 months or a year, people that travel are just like, oh my gosh, I should have done this, I should have done that. And I did that too. But, 7 years later, I've kind of got my routine down of what, here's what I need, that's why I can pack a day before. And then the day I'm leaving or getting ready to, I don't have to worry about the small stuff instead of, did I pack that? Did I get that? Did I do that?
Yeah. I think I'm blessed to have some people that work, like my boss and my HR partner, like they've traveled like this for probably the last 20 years.
Yeah.
And so they gave me some really great tips because I just felt for the first month I was going crazy. First 2 months. I was like, I don't know what to do. I feel like everything I do is work. I'm so tired, and at first I was always booking like the earliest flight out, and then I would try to fit as many salons in as possible, and my boss was finally like, Nicole, you just can't. You just see as many as you can see in the day and call it a day. And I refuse to book a 6 a.m. flight at this point, like unless I absolutely have to. Those 6 a.m. flights kill me, just ruin my whole day.
Yeah, I did the same thing when I first started traveling. If I had to work in the store Thursday and Friday or Friday and Saturday, let's say Friday and Saturday, I would fly in late Thursday night, then barely get used to where I'm staying, whether it's Nashville or Georgia or Kentucky, wherever.
Yeah.
And then I'd wake up, go to work Friday morning, go to dinner with my clients Friday night, wake up, go work Saturday, and then book my Saturday night flight home.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh my God, I feel like I haven't rested in 3 days,
Yeah, and you don't. That's why I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, I do 4 10s. Like I feel like I do like 3 24s. Like I don't know. I'm so tired.
But I think that's the one thing the office people don't maybe realize is what I consider when I'm traveling, like if I'm gone for 5 days, I'm gone for 24 hours. I'm not saying
I'm not working 24 hours essentially. You know
what
I mean?
If I'm not in my bed and at home, I'm working.
That's how I feel. Exactly. Like even though I'm in a hotel and I may be, watching a movie or something and not technically working, I'm not home.
That's right.
I'm not with my family. I'm not
with your friends. You're not doing what you necessarily.
I'm not doing my laundry, or whatever like I want to do. I'm not out with my friends. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
I'm returning emails at 10:30 at night because I can't sleep, which I would never do at home. Sorry if anybody hears this.
But it's exactly right. I mean, I'll sit there and it would be 9:30, and I'm like, oh, you know what? Let me go over that report one more time before I go see.
Yeah, and you would probably never do that at home because and you would probably be doing something.
Yeah, you're walking your dog, you're making dinner, you're talking about whatever.
Yeah, you have company.
And, people look at it and go, God, you're home this week, and I'm like, yeah, but I'll be gone every day next week.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't think, Mm-hmm.
I always tell people I drive for a living and I do appointments in between.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I feel.
Uh-huh.
I had 2 appointments today. I did probably did almost 5.5, 6 hours of driving with 2 appointments, and that's a short day.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it wasn't that many miles. It was just LA traffic.
Yeah.
And so
I have to drive out to Indio and La Quinta sometimes, and that'll be 3.5 hours depending on traffic. And I just have 2 salons out there, so I could be done in 2 or 3 hours, but it's about 7 hours of driving depending.
Yep. Exactly. Today I got done with my appointment at 3:00, 3:20. Put in my home address. The iPhone pulls up. You'll be home around 6. I'm 54 miles from home.
Oh, I hate that.
And I'm like, oh my God.
Yep, that's the worst.
It's not even a Friday.
It's the worst. And it's summer. Normally it's less traffic during the summer.
Yeah, you're right. There's no schools and all that, but I think we have such a high tourist rate that it offsets the schools almost.
Yeah, definitely. I think maybe that's just in the morning.
Well,
the morning traffic.
The morning today was 405 going north at 10:30 was still stop and go.
Yes, so terrible.
Rush hours from like 6:30 till about 11. Lets up till like 1 o'clock, and then it starts up again.
When I used to drive from San Diego, I would take, like 73 or whatever, and it would take me longer to get home from where the 73 ends in like Costa Mesa, just from Costa Mesa to Long Beach, than it did from San Diego to Costa Mesa. It would take me so long.
When I come home from up north, I'll drive for 5 hours straight. I have no problem with that. Driving, I have zero problem with. It's traffic. Because it'll. I'm the same way. I'm like, I'll do 300 miles like it's nothing, but the last 40 or 50 are just like, shoot me in the head.
Yeah, and that's the worst when you're trying to plan getting home.
Yeah. How's
like
dinner?
El Centro or Calexico.
How are your dinner plans going? Yeah. It's all good. Hey, Nicole, I truly appreciate you spending this much time with me.
No problem.
I love learning new things. So
hopefully it was helpful.
Well, hearing how stylists and large corporations are different territories and all that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I'm sure I will see you soon.
Definitely.
All right. Thanks, Nicole.
Have a great evening.
How you too?
I'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.